are about to maybe see history being made. And he is off.
It's actually fairly conservative,
I agree.
this car. Some dirt on here or there. Any of the quads have done that. And then just has to take what comes to him with the clouds. Oh my God, the thing is so fast.
He's moving a good pace here. Picnic grounds here. He'll probably hit around 150 miles an hour, if I'd have to take a guess.
Oh my gosh, so late on the brakes.
He's slowing themselves and regenning that way, or?
It's such a short program. They want to make this car, and this is one thing VW is great at. I know from our cars, our Beetles. They want to make it drives are already full. Then it transitions to regenerating under braking to make up about 20% of the battery power.
I wonder if we can get some lap times showing up here.
Yeah. And as you'll see, the helicopter's having trouble keeping up with him. He's coming in to Gilly's corner here. So that's Tin Barn. Coming up, he'll be approaching switchback below Glen Cove, and his qualifying section should be through the W's. I've been attending this race all my life, and I've never seen anything quite move like that. And there's so much dust on the road itself. During that sunrise, you see that dust get kicked up in the air, and it really shows the influence of those aerodynamics, especially the under effects.
So what's special here is the aerodynamics give it that huge amount of downforce, and it's an ultra-light car, right? So it has the advantage to climb fast while sticking to the road.
For an electric car, it is very light.
It's a challenge because batteries still weigh more for the energy produced. They still weigh more than gasoline. But you get a chance to put the weight where you want it. Oh my gosh!
That is wide on coming into Elk Park.
I mean, it's so much trust in the downforce there. It really is.
Of course, Carlin Dunn did it on an electric motorcycle in 2013, but Reese beat everyone, 2- and 4-wheeled competitors. So it is pretty remarkable to see that. It really shows the capability of this technology, and that's part of Pikes Peak's mission statement. It wants to be a proving ground for advancements in technology that improve the vehicles that we drive on the roads.
Corners, so there's not a lot of air cooling going on. I remember from driving, Wells Coyote as he comes into the fog here for some of the last W's. Jeez, it's thick.
Look at him disappear. What's going through his mind right now?
It's temperatures. So you're focused on temperatures. You're focused on, first of all, making sure you remember which are the quick corners and which are the slow ones. But once you get around the very last corner of Devil's Playground, you have a brief moment to check and see how hard the hit was on those W's. How much temperature did it put in everything? Is the power being pulled back or not? And can you really push on these?
That the Evo went off in 2012, kept it nice and tidy, knows where he is. This truly is the race to the clouds.
Look at those spectators enjoying that view.
How many people? 7,000 people up there drinking at 13,000 feet?
Yeah, it
Seems
only
like a good idea.
takes about 3 beers to get the effects of a 12-pack.
I'm a light. But the effect of a 12, I could never handle that. So right now,
Look at
get
that
a little bit
dust.
of a straightaway. Now checking out the gauges here before turning in, making sure everything looks good.
Super tight on the corners. Once we get to Boulder Park, the course ultimately tells us what's capable of, in comparison to Sebastian Loeb's record and Reese's.
These 3 corners are my least favorite on the whole track. These 3 left-hand, I know I mention them all the time. They just are so scary. And, they're slightly different radiuses, and you're going so fast. And you have to go fast if you're going to use down, courage requiring section.
The Little Pikes Peak.
It looks like if the clouds are going to affect him, it'd be around Olympic. Is that the area where it looks like they're kind of licking the mountain there?
It would. From what we saw there, it looks like it's going to be good there. This part of the course is extremely rough.
And it happens to be, especially an electric car, it's got to be the fastest straightaway.
And this is the disadvantage that he has to when Sebastian Loeb ran back into...
Look at the helicopter, barely able to climb at the same rate.
Coming up on a very bumpy left-hander here. Look at that just bounce record, but I think he has a chance at Loeb. I didn't start a stopwatch myself, but...
What's Loeb's time?
8 minutes and 13.878 seconds.
Roughly. right around there.
I think Mitch has
approximately
memorized.
Okay, the fact the helicopter can still see him means the visibility is still really good. They may have lucked out on the visibility. It's just a matter of if it's making full power or not.
How about the flat light? Because it's obviously not as sunny as it was earlier today.
I don't think that will be a negative effect. He's across the line. He made it to the top.
It looks like he got on the brakes a bit early there. There is construction going on, so they have been instructed to get on the brakes fast. But
You can hear the Volkswagen crew behind us cheering that he made it to the top. It is.
that's pretty cool.
First, they beat Sweden in the World Cup game yesterday, and now they make it to the top.
Start at 9, start with. Second charge will work.
Die Optik ist fast so. Wir bleiben so, alles gut.
Try. Do it 2 laps again. Good. 1, go. Bitte.
Hier haben wir eigentlich auch dann alles, was wir brauchen. Wie ist das gewollt hat?
Du hast jetzt schon angehalten?
Yeah. I was not concentrated on the braking, more on the driving. But I said the braking. We are on a very difficult condition today. It's nearly snowing, but we continue to improve, so that's very positive. We can do what we want. We can push on the limit everything. So right now to work on the braking, you know, with all this e-motor and regeneration on braking, it's completely new for me. You know, so after so many years to learn new things, it's still very nice. And you have to consider that you can use the front and the rear e-motor. So for that, you have also to think a little bit more in terms of technology, because you know we are tight on time. So we try to learn as much as possible today.
Das ist natürlich deutlich mehr, als wir fahren können, und das limitiert natürlich auch immer die einzelnen Runden, die wir fahren. Also wir versuchen immer relativ kurze Runden zu fahren, um möglichst viel auszuprobieren. Gleichzeitig müssen wir natürlich immer Sachen einzeln abtesten. weil sonst passieren mehrere Dinge gleichzeitig und man sieht nicht genau, was hervorruft. Also das ist dann natürlich so ein negativer Aspekt und wir versuchen managementmäßig uns natürlich so darauf einzustellen, dass wir möglichst kurze Runs haben, um dann pro Batterieladung möglichst viele Sachen auszuprobieren zu können. Wir haben verschiedene Einstellungen für alle möglichen Strategien im Fahrzeug. Also wir ändern gerade hauptsächlich das Bremsverhalten, ändern verschiedene Maps. Wir haben einmal die Software geflasht, dass wir neue Einstellmöglichkeiten haben und ändern jetzt so das Fahrzeugverhalten während des Bremsvorgangs.
Ja, also wir haben weniger als 100 Tage jetzt und ja, da muss man bald fertig sein. Also da spürt man schon den Druck. Wir haben eine Durchschnittsgeschwindigkeit über 140 km/h und da ist die Aerodynamik hat eine wichtige Rolle. Für dieses Projekt haben wir fast 2000 Teile gedruckt und das ist auch ein sehr großer Aufwand. Das ist wirklich so, dass wir absolut von Null angefangen haben im September. Da hatten wir auch sogar keine Design, absolut gar nichts. Und wir sind jetzt 5 Monate später oder 6 Monate später schon in eine richtige Fahrzeug, also Minimum im Windkanal und sehr bald auf der Strecke.
Da das Fahrzeug auf der Straße natürlich auch verschiedene Winkel fährt, der Fahrer lenkt ja das Auto, müssen wir natürlich auch sehen, wie ändert sich die Strömung entsprechend, wenn das Fahrzeug nicht ganz gerade auf der Straße sitzt, weil das ist eigentlich der seltenste Zustand. Man fährt ja durch Kurven und man hat natürlich auch beispielsweise Seitenwinde und ähnliches. Und da darf es natürlich nicht zu starken Veränderungen der Aerodynamik kommen. Das heißt, es muss halt möglichst konstant über verschiedene Lenk- und Fahrwinkel eben entsprechend auch sein, damit der Fahrer sich entsprechend sicher fühlen kann. Und natürlich auch das Auto entsprechend einschätzen kann, wie es sich verhält, wenn er dann beispielsweise durch eine schnelle Kurve fährt, dass dann nicht auf einmal die Strömung abreißt und es dann halt zu einer prekären Situation kommt. Typisch ist es, dass eben die Summe aller kleinen Veränderungen dann eine große Veränderung zur Folge haben. Ein kleines Teil kann natürlich auch mal großen Einfluss haben, aber eben normalerweise sind sie relativ klein und man versucht eben halt dann die beste Konfiguration zu finden und dann ein optimales Setup aerodynamisch zu ermitteln letzten Endes.
Die bleiben stehen und der macht jetzt nur noch hier dahinter. Jedes Fall hat seinen eigenen Namen. Also du hast quasi das Anfangsfall gespeichert.
Wie viele Rideheads sind es noch?
Wegschalten, wenn ich im Weg stehe.
Pour le rouille. Ah, c'est le on tourne à 40 à la fin, en mapping. Das Auto ist auch sehr, sehr groß und wir sehen, dass was auf 50% gut verhalten hat, in die 50, also auch in Air Traffic Photovoltaik war. In real müssen wir vielleicht die Materialien ein bisschen anpassen, sodass sich nicht so viel bewegt.
ist ja der Wahnsinn. Den ersten Supersportwagen voll elektrisch für so ein Bergrennen zu konzipieren und zu bauen, Traum. Bei der Gestaltung von Fahrzeugen spielt das Design heutzutage eine sehr, sehr große Rolle. Das ist das Erste, was die Menschen wahrnehmen, wenn sie auf ein Objekt zugehen. Hier geht es natürlich darum, einen hochperformanten Elektrorennwagen zu verpacken, dem eine Form zu geben, die wiederum sich einbrennt in die Netzhaut, das Gesicht des Fahrzeugs, die Lichtsignatur. All das sind Elemente, die aus den Fahrzeugprojekten, die wir jetzt mit der I.D.-Familie auf die Räder gestellt haben, dann in dieses Auto hineingekommen sind. Das ist ja der Zauber unseres Berufs, etwas, das man als Idee hat, in die Realität überführen zu dürfen, zu können. Das ist schon sehr cool. Wir machen sehr, sehr charakterstarke, sehr prägnante Produkte, die nachhaltig sind, puristisch und eben eine ganz, ganz eigene Linie haben. Technische Parameter zu erfüllen, die extrem herausfordernd sind. Die Aerodynamik des Fahrzeugs, das Package des Fahrzeugs, all das spielt eine sehr, sehr große Rolle. Werkstoffe, wie der Fahrer hinausschaut, wie er an den Kotflügeln vorbeischauen kann, die Durchströmung des Körpers, all das sind extreme technische Herausforderungen, die wir als Designer dann übersetzen müssen, gemeinsam mit den Ingenieuren in eben eine Volkswagen-typische Formensprache. Das ist eine riesen Herausforderung, aber für Designer ist das ganz toll, Herausforderungen zu haben. Wenn man eine Challenge bekommt, dann setzen Designer eben zur Höchstleistung an. Und das Team von Volkswagen Design ist das gewohnt, extreme Herausforderungen zu bestehen. Und ja, gerade wenn es darum geht, so ein faszinierendes Produkt zu machen, setzt das natürlich nochmal besondere Kräfte.
So exciting to see something that, let's say, 6 months ago was just like a data set or a sketch. We're so, let's say, in love with that because we know this car is going to be a success at the end of the day. It's just another member of our I.D. family, and as I said, hard work pays off. You know? It was not an easy task at the beginning because you know that our I.D. family, we have like the battery floor, the cars are naturally a little bit higher. I mean, they're a little bit more, let's say, Gran optic, they're a little bit higher on the ground. And then to really morph all these elements into something really flat and white was kind of a challenging, I must say. But you know, all designers, they want to do anyway something flat and white. It's like a dream package. And in one hand was something challenging, but on the other hand, when we did start doing our sketches, we were kind of so excited because we never got such an extreme package. And it was like a dream. That's something that we've been always dreaming about. It was really exciting, challenging a lot because, as I said before, we never have done such a thing before in our lives. And with this extreme nice package and to combine, let's say, our I.D. philosophy onto something extremely new was really, let's say, thrilling and emotional as well. And with such a tight time planning, it was really like, wow, how we do that. And we were trying to have reviews all the time. We had a really nice team working around that. Was such an adventure. Really
Was extrem wichtig für Pikes Peak ist der Abtrieb. Das sind so die Herausforderungen auch im Design, dass wir einen flachen, sportlichen Körper haben und dann mit mit dem Flügel und mit dem Splitter vorne umgehen müssen und das proportional zueinander abzustimmen. Also die besondere Designherausforderung bei so einem Rennauto ist natürlich immer, das Design follows Performance. Das heißt, das Design ist extrem performancegetrieben. Wir müssen extrem auf Aerodynamik achten, auf Leichtbau etc. bis hin zu der Lackierung, die eigentlich keine echte Lackierung ist, sondern eine Folie, die aus Leichtbaugründen eben den Vorrang vor einer echten Lackierung bekommen hat. Das ist ja nichts Alltägliches, das gibt es irgendwie, weiß nicht, alle 10 Jahre einmal, wenn überhaupt. Das heißt, da ist jeder mit voller Emotion, mit vollem Herzblut dabei und versucht natürlich das Beste zu geben.
Here we go.
say I'm very impressed. The car is, as everybody saw, very beautiful. It looks very aggressive. Already last year it was aggressive, this time it's even more. So yeah, everything is positive. Now we have to go testing, you know. I'm like a young kid who gets a present for Christmas. So now let's go. So like that we also will test the car on the road. And so on, we'll continue the week after to do some tower test development with Michelin. So yeah, a lot of testing now, and you know, it's the clock is running, and not only for lap time, but also to be ready for Pikes Peak.
Sehr stolz, dass man hier ist. Wie gesagt, es war unglaublich, dass das Team das in 8 Monaten geschafft hat, ein Auto zu bauen, das vorzustellen, dass das dann morgen fährt. Und auch ein bisschen, der Druck ist ein bisschen weg, das ist so der erste Schritt von das Ganze, aber es sind noch 69 Tage bis Pikes Peak, so das wird noch 69 Tage voll Gas geben, um dann das Rennen zu fahren. Well, first of all, when I saw the car the first time without the stickers, I was speechless because, I mean, I know they are working hard and I saw images but never think everything together. So to see it here now decorated, ready to go is just amazing. It's amazing and it makes me really proud. I think you could say that it's an ambassador for the I.D. family. I mean, it's showing that an electric car can be emotional, can be designful, can open hearts, can make lots of fans in the world for this type of car, for an electric car. I think we have really succeeded, and let's hope that we have a fantastic result in June, that we can beat this electric record.
Hello, hi. Welcome in, that I show you around. Welcome at home, here in Herzier. Well, as you will see, I have only 2 trophies or 2 in my house. All the rest are in the garage. What is always with me is the Le Mans one. For sure, my first overall victory in Le Mans 2010.
Then you can put it back.
Here we have some history trophy, let's say like that. Sometime when I park the car, I can see the trophy and I'm quite happy. But I think it's more for the neighbor. When they pass, sometimes they ask me question, why is this trophy here? But for me, it's okay.
So I do it back. Wait a minute.
I think we are all here to win and to try to win and to achieve success together, okay? But you know, after we can speak about the race for months, but the best is the next one. We will come, you know, I think. Later, little bit fitness room. So, put memory, Sebring with a spider. So I push you and put a special helmet that I made 20 years ago. For sure now you put some weight here. It's using just to train the neck muscle, which is for sure the most complicated muscle to train for endurance. Pikes Peak is so special because it's a challenge all the time, you know, a human challenge, crazy race, very dangerous. So I always kept this Pikes Peak and Le Mans here. So that was Le Mans when I won on GT in 2013. That was my first podium in Le Mans with Pescarolo in 2007. When you're a race car driver, first of all, you're not often at home, that's clear. But to be back here, it's always, you know, with the family, my son, my wife. It's always important to come here to relax, to do sport and so on, to enjoy life, a normal life. Yes, completely, because, you know, a race car driver, I guess, for me, in my position since 20 years, I'm always thinking of the next event, to the next event, to the next challenge, and so on. Is why also on the side of my endurance race, I always made Pikes Peak, Dakar, Rally, and so on, just because I like so much motorsport. But motorsport, it's really important always to be focused on it, to be fully concentrated. It's a big challenge. It's clearly, I think, it will be clearly the biggest challenge of Pikes Peak ever, because okay, it was already some electric car in Pikes Peak, but I think the project of Volkswagen is so big, so huge in terms of technology, that it will be the challenge of Pikes Peak.
The electric world, so the idea is to show our capability in doing electric cars, and especially for racing. I mean, it's a racing car, so it has to be as fast as possible. So technically, it has to be light and drivable, and you know, say fast. Well, the idea of the I.D.R was to have two motors, one motor front, one motor rear. I think it's a solution chosen for the MEB cars that will be produced in the future from Volkswagen. So yeah, we are going the same way. I mean, for our team, it was a great challenge. We started, as you say, from a way. Originally, we were supposed to modify or electrify the romance car. That was our original idea because of the tight schedule. But you know, engineers are a bit crazy, and we decided to do a complete new car in less than 8 months, and with very open rules, which means that the only limit was the time and the budget. So that's it does not happen so often in motorsport. We have all been in series where, like WRC, Le Mans, Formula One, you have a very strict rules. Here, the only rule is 4 wheels and be the fastest between the start to the end. That's it. I.D.R is a battery with 4 wheels. The rest has really been downsizing. So the motor are very small, light. Everything is as light as possible to benefit from the minimum weight and lower, again, as I said, the energy density. We were used to do a rally of 300 kilometers over 3 days. Now we have to be ready to do 20 kilometers in less than 9 minutes. 850 will be a great achievement. This is our target, 850. We have to go to the church and pray to get the right weather, because without the right weather, we will not reach this goal. No, we need the perfect conditions, and this is not.
Brand is full into the e-mobility, and for us it was a good idea to bring that to life for the first time in a motorsports car. And why not go back to Pikes Peak? We have a history with Pikes Peak that is, let's say, a black point in our history that we wanted to take away, and then to do it straight away with an electric car was a fantastic idea. Well, I mean, we were there 31 years ago, and we didn't succeed to go to the top. So yes, for Volkswagen Motorsport, it's a real challenge to also bring it to the top, and then straight away to bring the E record to Volkswagen would be, of course, a fantastic achievement. Well, I would say any time under 8:57 we will be very happy with, but of course if we can bring it down a lot would be, of course, a real achievement. But the target is to do 8:56 because that would bring the record to Volkswagen. Well, we had the last, let's say, official free tests last weekend, and they were really good. I mean, the car is functioning really well. We had some really minor problems, but that not did the car stop to drive. And well, the team is very motivated after these tests. As we say, the car has a huge potential. Now we just have to bring the car up to race car level. We have to prepare everything really well in the week to come, and then to be ready first of all on Wednesday for the qualifying and have a good starting position there. Well, first of all, the car is an ambassador, I say, for the new ID family that will come from Volkswagen. There are a lot of elements that we have seen in the show cars that we have seen today that you find back in the ID Pikes Peak. And first of all, it's also one of the first prototype cars that we have built. And so for us, it's a car that is a real new thing for Volkswagen and for Volkswagen Motorsport. And so we're very proud on this project. Most of the technique inside is own design. We have done a lot ourselves with some suppliers. We had some help for the battery from Braunschweig, from the battery department, and also Porsche Motorsport helped us a little bit in I.D.R areas. But yeah, it has 2 electric motors, one front, one rear, and has a battery that is our design together with suppliers built then. Well, the beginning of the story was actually in a meeting where we were talking about the e-motorsports and what could be done. And then somebody said, well, there's Pikes Peak, you know, the hill climb, they have already an e-record. And from there it got rolling, and at the end of that meeting, everybody said, actually, we should go back to Pikes Peak. For one reason, there is an e-record to break, which is the challenge. And secondly, we still have an old bill to settle. So we all agreed on that, and then from there, the ID was born. It was our technical director said, I think there is only one person that can drive this car. First of all, because he has won it 3 times. Romain was the first driver that was named, and we never even looked to another name because he fits this project really well. Romain likes the challenge to have only 9 months to bring a car up to speed to try to break a record. And he is in one way a little bit Mr. Pikes Peak also because he was there the last 4 years and he won it 3 times. It's one of the most important factors. I mean, the driver needs to know this 22 kilometers by heart. For him, it needs to be actually the road from home to the bakery in one way, and he just needs to drive that without thinking. And I think with Romain, we have found this. We've also seen it when we build up the simulator, that actually it is nearly like driving to his home, or in one way, he just describes that road so good, actually better than the first simulator program we had. So that's why Romain is the only person we could bring into this car. The automotive world is changing a lot today, and so also in motorsports you will see big changes in the future. I mean, more and more electric cars will come on the road, and more electric cars will be driven by people, and more people will also like to drive electric cars because it's fun to drive. So automatically motorsport will also fill up that gap, that it's nice to drive electric cars on racetracks, on rally roads, to do Pikes Peak, and this is the normal evolution. I mean, it happened in the past and it will happen again in the future.
All right. Take his hand. No. You good? Take his hand. Yes! Wow. Congratulations! Yes! Woo! Great stuff. Great stuff. Woo! Yeah.
Wait another car.
The exact time? Yeah. The car is coming. Was you talking to Roman?
Yes.
What did you say?
First of all, thank you for being with us this last 9 months, because also Romain, with all the programs he has had, he's been flying to America back for 24 hours up and down. So well, a massive congratulations. He did what we asked him to do and drive the car without any mistake, and yeah, that he actually gets this time because it was humid in sector 2. So he thought that he was going really slow, but yeah, fantastic. Well, I mean, if I just look to the company first, I mean, to do something like this in only 9 months, I think is probably the biggest achievement they ever did. And I think we've proved that electric cars can be passionate, that it's fantastic to see them drive, and that it's probably the future that we all have to go through.
What have you achieved today?
Well, we've achieved, first of all, our target, which was the electric record, but we also made it to break the record of Loeb, break the 8-minute barrier. I think it's the first time an electric car wins a competition in a, let's say, an open class, because it's not only electric cars here. So I think it's a milestone for electric cars, and also a milestone for our company, because 9 months working flat out day night with not much sleep with such a project is just fantastic.
Don't be modest, you've made motoring history today.
Yeah, I know, but it will take some time to let it sink through.
So I think for sure for motorsport today he proves that an electric car, a fast electric car, can win a race with high level. And I think, you know, everybody on a weekend enjoy a lot looking Pikes Peak. I saw some tweets that people saying it's more fun to look Pikes Peak than looking Formula One in Le Castellet. So I don't know if it's true, but for sure it's, I think, for Volkswagen to prove that this car can beat everything here. It's a big step. After for the road, it's another story. I enjoy the car a lot. It was, even if it's on a hill climb, was one of the best cars I ever drove. On the top 3 for sure. So fast on fast corners, so much grip. And yeah, so I was very happy for them, for myself. My only target was to win the race, you know, and for sure to try to break this record. When he explained me after the concept, in 8 months, they made just a rocket car, you know, and it's easy to see how the car is starting, you know, and the car is cornering. It's very impressive. So now I would like to try this car on a racetrack to see exactly which what can be the difference with the car I was used to. Yes, my plan was to start very fast on a first sector clear, and to try already to get a lot of time compared to Sebastian's record, because I knew it was a good sector for us in terms of downforce. And yeah, I was convinced, but I didn't want to do any mistake. I knew it was a lot of people following here, but more in Wolfsburg, and I was very scared that we can do, you know, in Pikes Peak a small mistake. So when I saw the less grip in the sector 2, suddenly I said, okay, don't take any risk. It will be enough to win. It will be possible enough for the record, but don't do any mistake for sure, because I didn't want, you know, to do something that it was not possible to repair. So. Yeah, but at the end, in my head, it was clear. Yesterday evening, I spoke with my friend Brice, and I said, tomorrow we have to go below 8. That was my own target, to go below 8. But now I hope we can go possible a little bit quicker next time. Yeah, it was very difficult morning for sure, for everybody. First of all, I came too early because I was scared to be late. And we wait, you know, it's not the first time for me here, you know. I know how it's complicated this time. But suddenly when we saw the weather, I saw on the face of FX and Sven that the weather was not great. So I was just staying in the car and yeah, say anyway, we have to do our job now. And it was, yeah, a very long time to wait. But yeah, at the end of the day, that's racing. What we can do, nothing. Just try and hope
For sure, it was not an optimum day. I'm sure we had more performance a little bit, but it was for sure enough. So that was the most important. Already people from Peugeot who sent me texts that they were happy and hope to come back, but I don't know. Hopefully they will come back like that. They will push us a little bit more. On Sector 1, as I told you, I took a lot of, yesterday night in a video, I took a lot of mark and say, okay, I should be at this speed and this speed. It's the first time that I was able to look the dash by driving, to look my minimum speed in a corner. And Sector 1 was just great, was just good, no stress, no push. But yeah, Sector 2 straight away was a lot more difficult, a lot less grip. After, you know, I was a little bit on stress inside the car, and I was thinking, okay, relax. When I get Sector 3, I say, okay, now it's only 2 minutes to go. Come on, baby, we go and we finish these things.
car and the best team. So normally, you know, we are just here to beat this record. I'm really confident. We have to continue to work. For sure, the project is quite fresh, you know, in terms of the car we just started some weeks ago. So we have to continue to improve step by step. But yeah, we are getting there, that's for sure.
It's a give and take here in Pikes Peak. Some place, you know, it will be bumpy, you have to deal with. But if you are very low in run height, you can be a lot faster on a lower section or opposite. So it's always a kind of compromise. And now we have to understand and to decide what will be the best one.
This one, you know, it's like a rocket. When you go out of any corner, as soon as you go on power, you have so much power. It's unbelievable. It's, you know, even you driver, you have to adapt a little bit of this. The first 2 or 3 times I went this morning, the speed was so impressive compared last year. You know that a lot of time I was braking, that last year I was staying flat, but I say, okay, get to the reason, you know, and it's completely different to drive. You have no noise, you have no gears, so your mark are only the visibility. And for that, it's very difficult, you know, it's completely different in terms of driving style, in terms of approaching a corner. You know, you just make everything with your view, and that was, it's a lot of difference. I think it's just, you know, you look around and you understand it's unique. When you arrive on this morning, I was not there since 1 year, you arrive this morning, you see the first corner, the quick left, you know that it's a way of the crazy race, the start of the crazy race. And when the sun is rising up and you see a lot of adrenaline and a strange atmosphere here, you know, all this nice tree, but you know that the tree, you don't have to do any mistake because they are there. So it's completely different than what I am used to, but even it will be my 6th time now that I will do the race, but you always have the same feelings, the same stress with the same that when you do Le Mans, you know, it's I think that's a mark of the big race. Pikes Peak is the hardest race to win, even more than 24 Le Mans. Because, you know, as soon you have a problem, it's finished. You know, Le Mans and so on, okay, possible, it's an endurance race, but you can still recover. If you have a small issue, if you go to the pit, you can still repair. In a rally, if you have a puncture or something, you can still hope to continue. Here, if you have a puncture, it's finished. And it's the hardest race you can imagine.